History is filled with figures who defy simple labels. Men and women who walked the shadowy line between worlds. And few embody this more strikingly than John Dee. Mathematician, astronomer, navigator, imperial visionary, and Queen Elizabeth I's personal philosopher. Some whispered her court sorcerer. Born in 1527, at the dawn of England's golden age, Dee wasn't just a product of the Renaissance. He was one of its most brilliant and baffling minds. He advised explorers charting new worlds, whispered secrets into the ears of queens, and sought to unlock the very language of angels. But was he a groundbreaking scientist, a master occultist, or something far more arcane? Join us as we delve into the untold story of John Dee, a man who lived on the edge of history. John Dee's intellect was a force of nature. Son of a courtier to Henry VIII, he moved through the high circles from youth. At St. John's College, Cambridge, he devoured knowledge. Greek, Latin, mathematics, astronomy, navigation, reportedly studying 18 hours a day, driven by an insatiable hunger for understanding. His reputation as a scholar exploded across Europe. He lectured on Euclid in Paris to packed halls, dazzled the continent's brightest minds like Gemma Frisius and Gerardus Mercator. Yet he declined prestigious academic posts, his gaze firmly fixed on serving England. He returned home armed with cutting-edge knowledge, particularly in navigation, a skill a budding maritime nation desperately needed. When Elizabeth I ascended to the throne in 1558, Dee found his ultimate patron. She called him "my philosopher," and he became her trusted scientific and medical advisor. His first official act? Using astrology to choose the most auspicious date for her coronation, January the 15th, 1559. A perfect example of how science and magic were more than deeply intertwined. At his home in Mortlake, Dee amassed England's largest private library, over 4,000 books and manuscripts on every conceivable subject, a beacon for scholars. He wasn't just a theorist, he trained navigators like Francis Drake, Martin Frobisher, pushing for the discovery of the Northwest Passage. But his most audacious vision was for England itself. In 1577, Dee coined the very term British Empire, urging Elizabeth towards maritime supremacy and colonialization, laying the intellectual groundwork for centuries of expansion. Despite his influence, Dee grew frustrated. His grand imperial designs and calendar reforms stalled. Perhaps this and an unyielding thirst for deeper truths pushed him further towards the occult, a path he believed complemented his scientific quest for divine order. In 1564, he published Monus Hieroglyphica, the hieroglyphic monad. This complex symbol, a fusion of astrological signs, was Dee's attempt to represent the mystical unity of all creation. He believed meditating upon it could unlock profound secrets, a universal key to understanding alchemy, metaphysics, and the divine. Though largely ignored in England until later it found favour with secret societies like the Rosicrucians, it was pure Dee, mathematics as a gateway to the mystical. By the 1580s, Dee embarked on his most controversial endeavour, direct communication with angels. He turned to scrying, gazing into a crystal or dark mirror to receive visions. After several failed attempts with other mediums, in 1582 he found Edward Kelley. Kelley was a dubious character, his ears cropped, a common punishment for forgery, yet Dee was convinced of Kelley's ability to see and hear spirits in the shoe stone. For 7 years, they conducted hundreds of spiritual conferences. Kelley would gaze, relaying angelic messages, which Dee meticulously transcribed. These communications were often in strange, complex language the angels supposedly called Enochian, the tongue spoken before the Tower of Babel. Dee believed Enochian was a divine key, a set of conjurations to summon powerful angels who would reveal cosmic secrets, perhaps even the Philosopher's Stone. With Kelley as his conduit, Dee travelled Europe, seeking patronage from rulers like Emperor Rudolph II, presenting themselves as emissaries of angelic wisdom. But the partnership was fraught. Dee sought divine knowledge. Kelley, it seemed, desired worldly power and gold. The breaking point came in May 1587. Kelley claimed the angels, through the spirit Madimi, commanded them to share everything, including their wives. Astonishingly, Dee, perhaps fearing to disobey what he believed to be divine entities, complied. This bizarre pact shattered their spiritual conferences. Kelley remained in Europe, briefly living lavishly before imprisonment and a rumoured death trying to escape. Dee, however, returned to England in 1589 to a nightmare. His magnificent library had been plundered, his home vandalized, and the intellectual climate had completely shifted. Suspicion of occultism was now rife. Queen Elizabeth, loyal to the end, appointed Dee Warden of Christ's College, Manchester, perhaps to shield him. But with her death in 1603 and the rise of James I, who despised mysticism, Dee's fortunes plummeted, and he spent his final years in poverty, dying around 1609, a man who advised queens reduced to selling all his possessions. For centuries, Dee was a caricature, the mad sorcerer, the alchemist, but modern scholarship reveals a far richer portrait. A brilliant mathematician, a visionary navigator whose ideas shaped an empire, and a profound mystical thinker. He saw no divide between science and magic. Both were tools to decipher God's universe. Perhaps John Dee, the Queen's philosopher, was not a man of two worlds, but a rare intellect who understood they were always one and the same. What do you believe was John Dee's true legacy? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear what you think. And if you're intrigued by hidden figures who shaped our past, then subscribe to the Arcane History Collection for more untold stories from the edge of history.